Hey, what's up, YouTubers? It's me again, Brian, aka Gamer55551, and I am back with a My 2 cent video for this week. And we're going to be taking a look at, actually 5 stories this week that caught my attention, and I'm going to give you my thoughts and opinions of them. So, why don't we get started with the first one? The first one we're going to be talking about is that as Marvel vs. Capcom Infinite, a fighting game that a long line of other Marvel vs. Capcom games, has debuted in both Japanese and in the UK. Haven't heard any about the US one yet. Then again, I really don't keep up with a whole lot of fighting games. And, well, the list didn't exactly get off to the best start. According to several articles, again, that's my phone, don't worry about it. Again, link in the description in below. Let me see if I can get these articles right up here. Okay, apparently, according to the UK sales chart, apparently it did not enter in any of the top 10, though. It says, counting on Capcom to assure a game starring Spider-Man, Captain America, and Chris Redfield underperformed. Marvel vs. Capcom Infinite launched this week, and although you'll be forgiven to forgetting, and entered the UK charts at 12th place, it's a disappointment. It's a disappointing performance. The others that entered in there, of course, at the top were Project Cars 2, NBA 2K, Destiny 2, Grand Theft Auto 5 still hangs on there for some reason, but it certainly did not enter in on the highest of the UK charts, though. I also heard that even on just putting on the top PlayStation charts, though, it didn't exactly enter in that one as well. In Japan, according to this one, it had a disastrous launch, and it points out, quote, again, articles, links in the description, after failing to make any kind of meaningful impact in the latest UK charts, Marvel vs. Capcom Infinite had crashed and burned in Japan, where it barely sold over 8,000 copies on the PlayStation 4. Historically, the series has never produced a huge hit and land on the rising sun, but these are still disastrous numbers for a crossover fighting game. According to the software sales from there, it points to it ranked at number 8. Keep in mind, Japan, they check charts every, I think, weekly, though, than here in the US and all. And just to add one more insult to injuries, it points out that in the UK, Ultra Street Fighter 2, the final challenger, if I could get the game out, this game in particular right here had a better debut than Marvel vs. Capcom Infinite. It says here that Ultra Street Fighter 2 might be considered a lazy, depending on how you look at that. Some may or may not agree, if fun piece of Switch software, but it would seem that the all-important Street Fighter brand is more powerful than you might assume. According to the latest sales figures in the UK, the Switch title had a stronger debut than the recent Marvel vs. Capcom. The new brawler, which launched on PS4, Xbox One, and PC last week, entered UK physical retail at a disappointing 12th position. In the PlayStation 4 single format chart, it leapt into 16th place, while the Xbox One version chart, it didn't even make the top 40. According to this one, it points out that it says, for a top-tier Capcom fighter which has benefited from months of hype, it's a disastrous showing. Makes all the more embarrassing to the fact that Ultra Street Fighter 2, the final challenger, enjoyed a stronger debut week on a single system, and it was little more than a warm-up serving of Super Street Fighter 2 HD Remake, a title which is almost a decade old. So, a couple things. One, the fact that this game had a better performance in the UK than Marvel vs. Capcom Infinite, that's surprising. That's kind of embarrassing a little bit to a certain degree, that a decade-old game fared better than a new entry into the Marvel vs. Capcom series. But as far as why the game may have not performed very well, I mean, you could look at several factors, though. There was some criticism about the game not being polished and everything like that. There's also the possibility that there were some people that were upset with the way Street Fighter V was launched, although from what I understand, the game is certainly better now than it did. And there's also the possibility that the fact that one of the producers of the series made a comment saying that nobody cares. I don't 100% sure how he said it, but nobody cares about the X-Men anymore, which is kind of interesting considering that the movie Logan came out earlier this year and that performed well, which should show proof that despite Spider-Man, Iron Man, Captain America, and all that from the Marvel Cinematic Universe, that people still care about X-Men. People still want to go see it. So that could be a possibility. That could be one of the factors, though. Either way, not great for this, though. Certainly not good for this game. And it will certainly be kind of interesting to see what happens when Dead Rising 4, Frank's big package, or surprise package, whatever it's going to be called, which was originally an Xbox One exclusive last year, comes to the PS4 this year, this holiday season, and we'll see how well that one does. But I wouldn't be surprised if Capcom maybe reevaluates some stuff. I mean, it's possible they may put the Marvel vs. Capcom brand on ice for the time being. It's possible they may try to port it over to the Switch. I mean, so anything goes, but it certainly was not a great week, especially in Japan and in the UK. It will be very interesting to see how well the game does here in the US. So, overall, certainly disappointing in Japan and in the UK. Let's see how it does in the US. Maybe it will fare a lot. Maybe it will fare better over here than it did in Japan and in the UK. So we'll wait to see how that one is, though. Right. Okay, we're going to take a bit of a break, and when we come back, we're going to be talking a little bit about the latest information regarding Yooka-Layee, at least for the Nintendo Switch, and another delay, unfortunately, that it has been hit with, though. So we'll take a bit of a break, and we will be right back. Okay, and we are back with part 2 of our video for this week, though. And the next one we're going to be talking about is news about Yooka-Layee, at least the Switch version that has recently came up, that has unfortunately hit a bit of a speed bump along the development process. Now, before I begin talking about Yooka-Layee, I just want to give a bit of a disclosure right off the bat. I did back Yooka-Layee when it came out, when the Kickstarter came out back in 2015. I do want to stress and point out that I'm not being sponsored or anything like that by either Playtonic or anyone else, though. All opinions about the game are going to be my opinion and my opinion alone. So I just want to give that little disclaimer, though, that yes, I did back this game in 2015. I have no regrets backing it, but I want to make clear that I'm not being sponsored or paid by Playtonics or anything like that. As I said earlier, all opinions are my opinions and my opinions alone. With that out of the way, let's get started with the story about Yooka-Layee, at least for the Nintendo Switch. And apparently, it may have hit another roadblock along the way. Let's see if I can get the article out here. From a post on several articles, though. Again, I'll have a link in the description of the video, though. It points out that Playtonic has a Yooka-Layee update for all Nintendo Switch owners waiting to play the game. Unfortunately, the game has hit a snag and expecting some delays. Issues with Unity are keeping things from running smoothly and need to be addressed. To be more specific, Playtonic Games has noted that it needed to wait for Unity 5.6 to fix some of the problems Yooka-Layee in Nintendo's Switch build was experiencing. However, even more problems appear when the Unity update was released. It is only after all these problems are fixed that the game can be submitted to Nintendo. Once it's submitted, the developers can start thinking about a release date. Now, I understand for a lot of Nintendo fans, they've basically been waiting a long time for the Nintendo version of the Yooka-Layee game, since the game has already came out for the PC, PS4, and Xbox One. Although those games got heavily criticized, particularly the Xbox One version, with the game running into some frame rate issues and some bugs and all that stuff. Although supposedly the patch that went live sort of fixed all that problem, and it appears as though Playtonic wants to make sure this Switch version gets off on the right foot compared to how the Xbox One, and to some lesser extent the PS4 version, though. And while I applaud the fact that they are at least letting us be aware of this and they want to try to fix this problem to get the game up and running on Nintendo Switch perfectly fine, it does kind of raise the question of how much more patience Nintendo fans are willing to wait. And when this game is released, will it be well worth it? And I'm a little worried that with Super Mario Odyssey coming out next month in October, October 27th to be exact, I wonder if when they eventually do release this game, that there is a good chance that this game can be overshadowed by Super Mario Odyssey, though. I mean, again, I understand there are bugs and some issues that need to be addressed, and I'm hoping that these problems are addressed as soon as possible, though, but I am a little worried that some people are patience are running thin, and some people may end up just choosing to go buy the PS4 or Xbox One or download the PC version rather than constantly just wait for the Switch version to come out. So I can understand some frustration. As for me, as I said earlier though, I am one of the backers, and I am going to give Playtonics the benefit of the doubt though, and I want to wait to see how the Switch version looks and see if it plays well and all, and if they have maybe fix some of the problems that some people complained about the Xbox One or the PS4 version. Though, like I said earlier, supposedly they released a patch and sort of fixed all those problems already. So we'll have to wait and see how it plays out though. So hopefully it's not a big delay. Hopefully they can iron out these problems quickly and the game could be out in the nick of time. I'm just worried what's going to happen when they do release it, and would it be overshadowed by Super Mario Odyssey, which will be out, and I'm pretty sure a lot of people will be spending their time on that one. Don't worry, that's my phone. And also, bottom line, I'm planning to still wait for it and see how it plays out, but I can understand how some people may start to lose patience really soon on waiting for the Switch version of Yooka-Layee, though. Okay, we're going to take a bit of a break, and when we come back, we're going to be talking about a story that's been floating around about the possibility of Borderlands 2 might be coming to the Switch. I'm saying a big possibility, and why I don't really have a lot of confidence on that one. So, we'll take a bit of a break, and we will be right back. Okay, and we are back with the third part of our My 2 Cent video. Had to shoot this again, mostly because, again, the computer's acting up. I don't know what it is. Hopefully I fixed it, and hopefully it's solved right now. Alright, so anyway, for the third one, we're going to be talking about a comment the Gearbox CEO Randy Pitchford made on Twitter regarding a comment of the chances of Borderlands 2 coming to the Nintendo Switch. So basically, for those who I just want to start off by saying though, I do enjoy the Borderlands series. It's one of my favorite FPS shooter series I enjoy, along with other series, other series like Wolfenstein and Doom as well. May not be a hardcore Doom player, but I respect that series as the granddaddy of all FPS shooters. So, as for Borderlands, I do enjoy basically the visual art style in the game. The gunplay and gameplay is fun though. I like the loot system. And I also like to point out I'm a big fan of the idea of combining first-person shooter mechanics with RPG elements. So it's one of the things that has attracted me to that series. That said, while I am a fan of the series, I'm not a fan of the company, especially some of their latest practices though. So recently a comment came up, if I could get the notes up, where is it here? Came up asking them what about the chances of Borderlands 2 coming to the Nintendo Switch. And one of the person made a tweet, asked how many retweets to get Borderlands 2 ported to the Switch. Randy Pitchford, if I'm saying the name correctly, said 1 million. That's what he said, 1 million tweets. Other article pointing out that last time it was checked, it's only made like about 12,000 tweets. Now, I do want to say is this. I'm not against the idea of Borderlands 2 coming to the Nintendo Switch. I would prefer if it was the Handsome Collection coming to the Nintendo Switch, and I would like to see a port of the first one come to Nintendo Switch, and I sure as hell would be open to the idea of Borderlands 3 coming to the Nintendo Switch. So I'm not against the idea of this series coming to Nintendo Switch. I just don't trust Gearbox, and I don't have a lot of confidence that they're going to bring the Borderlands series, let alone Borderlands 2, to the Nintendo Switch. Let us not forget that this is from the same company that decided to is planning to release We Happy Few, a sort of a survival game that started, I think, on Steam Greenlight and was a Kickstarter that was $30, and it's being published by Gearbox, which is nice, but they're charging $60 for it with a season pass, and that's not sitting well with a lot of people. Let's also not forget this is the same company that released Bulletstorm Full Clip Edition. Again, a good game, but I felt like charging $5 for a DLC of Duke Nukem when it came off as like basically they needed to do something with the character. And then there was that whole issue with, I think, one of the companies that are known to sell keys on PC, but is known to be a bit shady with their business practices. And Gearbox didn't do anything until I think one of the YouTubers by the name of Total Biscuit exposed some of it, showed them the evidence, and eventually they had to basically back away from that company and all. This is also the company that released Battleborn at the worst possible time, despite the game getting somewhat positive reviews. I think Jim Sterling gave it an 8 out of 10, though. It didn't perform as well, ranging from the fact that they decided to put the loot boxes with microtransactions and turn into a free-to-play game. It pretty much did not sit well for those who paid $60 for it, to the fact that it was released right next to Overwatch, and in the end, Overwatch, even though that game has its share of problems, pretty much buried Battleborn right out of the gate. And of course, the most notorious thing of them all is the way they handled Duke Nukem Forever. Even though part of the blame goes to a lot of developers, Gearbox definitely shares a lot of the blame to it, to the notorious one and only Alien Colonial Marines, a game that they lied to consumers about, that they were working on this, and it turned out to not be true, and ranging from allegations from they took the money Sega gave them to make Borderlands 2, to the fact that Randy Pitchford still to this day continues to defend the game and continues to place himself like he's the victim of a smear campaign, though, which kind of reminds me of a certain individual in the White House to be exact, though. So, and you can see why I don't have a lot of confidence. I just feel, combine that with some of the comments he made about the Nintendo Switch, I just don't see it happening. Would I like to see it happen? Yeah, I would love to see the Borderlands series come to Nintendo Switch. But given some of his company's past reputation, to some of the comments he said, especially about the Nintendo Switch, I say the chances of the Borderlands series, let alone Borderlands 2, coming to Nintendo Switch is highly unlikely in my opinion, though. Not that I don't want it to happen, I just don't see it happening anytime soon. I just don't see it happening at all. Who knows, maybe he might change his opinion about it down the road or something, but as of right now, I'm not seeing it happen at all, though. Okay, we're going to take a bit of a break, and when we come back, we're going to be talking about the Red Dead Redemption 2 trailer that has come out, plus a rumor regarding GTA 5, though. So we'll take a bit of a break, and we will be right back. Okay, and we are back with the fourth video for this, my 2 cents for this week. And for this one, we're going to be taking a look at 2 games from Rockstar, or actually one that we know is coming and one that's been rumored that could be coming, particularly for the Nintendo Switch. So why don't we start with the first one, and that is that this week, though, Rockstar released a new trailer for Red Dead Redemption 2, though. It's going to be, they're still scheduled for it to come out in 2018, although I read somewhere about spring 2018, and I am looking forward for that one when it comes out. Suppose we know what we've read so far, that it's going to be a prequel, it's going to star a new character, I think Jason Moore. Let me see if I can get the name up, if I can look it up. The exact, I believe the name is You play Arthur Morgan. Okay, I was way off. Okay, but in either case, I am looking forward to trying that one out. I was a fan of the first one when it came out, though. I was hoping that perhaps maybe they would remake the first one and release that one out before this one's coming, before the Red Dead Redemption 2 one comes out. And we've heard some rumors about that for quite some time, but obviously nothing's happened, and I wouldn't be surprised if it doesn't happen at all, which is somewhat of a little bit shame. But in either way, I'm looking forward to Red Dead Redemption 2 coming out for the PS4, Xbox One though. There were rumors about a Switch version, although we don't know if that's true or not, so we're not 100% sure. But even though if that game may not be coming, the Switch might be getting another game from Rockstar in the terms of GTA 5. While nothing official has been confirmed, there is sort of a rumor floating around. Now, here's what, according to some of the articles, are saying. Apparently, according to an article from Screen Rant, it says, popular video game Grand Theft Auto 5 could be making its way to the Nintendo Switch. The action-adventure video game developed by Rockstar North and published by Rockstar Game has garnered a cult following, ramping up the success that the franchise has enjoyed since it was first released in 2008, which I think was Grand Theft Auto 4. The latest iteration of the game series, which was rolled out in 2013, takes place in the fictional location of Los Santos, San Andreas, state of San Andreas, where every gamer can live out their best or worst thieving dreams. Almost 7 months in since Nintendo released their new console, and it seems that they were able to maintain a clamor for the device by delivering what they have always promised to deliver, a gaming platform that can be used at any given time. Alright, the Japanese conglomerate has alleviated any doubts, sorry if I'm saying that wrong, the possibility shortage of content of games, both big budgets as well as indie ones, continue to be available on Switch, and GTA 5 could potentially be the one of them really soon. A user on NeoGAF via Nintendo Life with the handle Verm has recently came out with a pretty exciting rumor. For those who are unfamiliar, this is a person who supposedly leaked information about the LA Noire rumor before a couple of months earlier this year, before it officially been confirmed that it was coming out. Has recently come out with a pretty exciting rumor for both Grand Theft Auto and Switch fans. He claims he got a tip from a reliable source that the video game may be busting its way to the hybrid console. His lengthy post, which you can read below, is a supplement expansion of his earlier comment that GTA 5 could be coming to the Switch. Supposedly, when someone asked him why isn't the GTA 5 coming to the Switch, he made a comment that said patient, and that set off a whole lot of other things. And so he basically recently made a comment on it by saying, quote, "Been sitting on this cause I'm not sure if it's really worthy of a post because I lack the most important details, but blank F it, shall we say. F it, why not? Heard a while back more from R, which I would assume is Rockstar, is in development for my most reliable source, but wouldn't confirm what or when. Essentially, it was told it shouldn't be surprised what the title it is, which it sounds like most likely GTA 5. It could be Red Dead Redemption or Red Dead Redemption 2, but according to this person, he's leaning towards GTA 5. I personally fully expect a GTA title, whatever it may be, because it makes sense since you see everyone clamoring for it in every damn thread, and it's the biggest game on Earth. Now, watching this post it get turned into a YouTube video, which, okay, yeah, obviously, and Go Nintendo News article again when I said nothing at all of actual substance. For real, this is in no way confirming that a GTA 5 port is coming. It's just my solid as effing source giving me some info and my own educated guess. Probably shouldn't have said anything because I have nothing, and in 6 months or in a year from now when another R title gets announced, I could claim I was right. So just ignore what I said. Somehow I blew it though. Now, obviously this isn't exactly an official confirmation of Grand Theft Auto 5 is coming to the Nintendo Switch. That said, it seems as though Rockstar has kind of warmed up a little bit to the Switch lately. Same with Bethesda, with them bringing Skyrim, and of course, now we know that Doom and Wolfenstein 2 are coming to the Switch. They are releasing L.A. Noire, though, and I wouldn't be surprised if they look at the sales numbers to see how well L.A. Noire has done. And while it is true, and I will agree, this isn't a official 100% confirmation that excuse me, GTA 5 is coming to the Nintendo Switch. Keep in mind, we've heard rumors of like many other games that are announced that never turned out to be true or anything like that. I certainly don't rule it out. I certainly do not rule out the possibility that GTA 5 could be coming to the Nintendo Switch, and I wouldn't be surprised if, say, Rockstar maybe has a version on the Switch to see how well it could run, how well can it handle it, and so on, in both docked and undocked mode, though. I also think it's possible they could be looking at, and I said this earlier, the sales numbers of L.A. Noire. They want to see how well does that game does. Does it do well with Nintendo fans and Switch audiences, though? Will it sell well enough to convince perhaps maybe bringing a Grand Theft Auto title, maybe Grand Theft Auto 5 to the Nintendo Switch? And I will say that while it is, like I said, while it's not 100% confirmation, I certainly would be down to it. I think a game like that could benefit a lot from the Switch, as the idea of, the Switch being this handheld console hybrid, that would be a great idea to bring on the go, where, you could play a little bit at home and then bring it with you on the go and finish off where you left off, and vice versa, though. So I certainly would be open to the idea. I think the question is how much optimization would have to go into it. Could they fit GTA 5 in there? What version would it be? Will it be like the PS3 and 360 version? Will it be like the PS4 or Xbox One version? Will it be a combination of both, where we get the visuals maybe slightly above the PS3 and 360 version, not anywhere near the PS4 or Xbox One, but have, some of the gameplay features from the PS4 and Xbox One, like the ability to play the game through a first-person view, though. And would they also bring perhaps maybe GTA Online to the Nintendo Switch? It'll be interesting how that works, though. So overall, I have to say, it is a rumor. There's no 100% confirmation if this is true or not, so this information has to be taken with a grain of salt. But I am certainly not against the idea of Grand Theft Auto 5 coming to the Nintendo Switch. I'm certainly not against it, and I hope it does happen, though. So for me, fingers crossed on that one. I would like to see the GTA series, though, come to the Switch, though. It has come to the Nintendo consoles in the past. I think they've released one on the Game Boy Color, Game Boy Advance, and the Nintendo DS with Chinatown's Wars, although that one didn't exactly perform, or sales-wise didn't perform as well as they hoped for, which is why it was re-released on the PSP and also ISO and Android devices, though. So if it is true, hopefully this one does well on the Nintendo Switch. So, like I said, fingers crossed. Let's hope it turns out to be true. So, again, grain of salt, but I'm hoping, no. Okay, we're going to take a little bit of a break, and when we come back, we're going to get to our final part of this My Two Cent, and that is some upcoming information about DLCs for Fire Emblem Warrior, plus something that Nintendo did with their content creator program that has some YouTubers up in arms over, though. So we'll take a bit of a break, and we will be right back. Okay, and we are back with the fifth and final part of our My Two Cent for this week. And this one, just like the Rockstar and the GTA one, this one's also a double one. And for this one, we're going to be talking about DLC that just recently was announced for upcoming Fire Emblem Warrior game, and a change to Nintendo's content creator program that basically has some people up in arms, though. So, excuse me. So we'll start with the first one. As you all know, the next Warrior game collaborated with Nintendo is the upcoming Fire Emblem Warrior game that will be out, I believe, October 20th. And recently, Nintendo has announced the DLC that was announced at the Tokyo Game Show will be coming over to the Nintendo Switch. from an article posted on, if I can get it up there, Nintendo Everything. Again, link will be in the description. The game is basically, they announced the Season Pass, which will be out October 20th and will cost you $19.99, that's $20, £17.99. The Season Pass includes all 3 DLC packs, which become available as they release. Each DLC pack is filled with new playable characters and weapons. The Season Pass will be for the Nintendo Switch and the 3DS. The first DLC pack, which will be out this December, will contain stuff from Fire Emblem Fate. The second one, which will be out in February of 2018, near my birthday, will contain items and characters from the game Fire Emblem Shadow Dragons. And the third one, which will be out in March 2018, will contain DLC from Fire Emblem Awakening, though. It also points out that some information regarding the amiibos will be supported in Fire Emblem Warriors, the new Chrome and Tiki Fighter, plus other compatible Fire Emblem Amigos figures, including Marth, Ike, Robin, and Luciana, if I'm saying the name correctly, will grant players weapons or materials when tapped. Player can scan up to 5 different compatible amiibo figures per day. In other words, it's very similar to what happened in Hyrule Warriors, though. When if you scan an amiibo, you can scan up to 5 amiibos. You might get a weapon, you might get an item, you might get materials and all. So it's very similar. So those who've played Hyrule Warriors and used the amiibo functionality, it's going to feel the same thing. As far as the Season Pass goes, though, again, to me, $20 isn't necessarily bad. I mean, I understand down with the whole Season Pass kind of stuff, though, and I can understand there are some legitimate criticisms about it, though. But as far as it being again, $20. I mean, it could be worse. It could be EA's outrageous $60 for a game with little to no content and $50 for a Season Pass with little to no content, like we saw with Star Wars Battlefront, and even Fire Emblem. I think Echoes. I think that one, Fire Emblem Echoes. That one, although it had a lot of content in it, the $40 Season Pass kind of could turn off some people. So I can see why some people may not be huge fans of it, though. But $20 isn't necessarily terrible. But again, it would have been nice if they did announce, like, oh, we're going to have a Season Pass before the game comes out. I know some people are upset about that, feel like, well, why didn't you put that in the game in the first place? So, but again, on the other hand, Nintendo has been okay with the way of updating content and DLCs, though. I mean, Hyrule Warriors was a good example of that, though. But again, I can understand some people's criticism. So, but bottom line, it's going to be $20 when the Season Pass comes out for the upcoming Fire Emblem Warriors. It will apply to both, according to the article, it's going to apply to both the 3DS version and the Switch version, though. So it's, again, it's not everyone's cup of tea, but if you want to spend $20 for it, this is what you're going to get if you try to get the Season Pass. Otherwise, according to the article, I believe each of the individual ones will be around $9, though. Alright, so the next final thing we want to talk about is a change in the policy that Nintendo has with their content creator program that has, well, it's gotten a lot of YouTubers pretty upset about this, and I can understand the reason why. So, from an article posted on Game Informer, links are in the description, though, it says, last night, Nintendo sent out an email to participants of its YouTube monetization program, Nintendo creators. The email outlines Nintendo's new policy on live streaming their games on YouTube, banning it from monetization and banning it outright. The Nintendo creators program was created as a response to Nintendo demonetizing all videos from Nintendo-related games on YouTube. The program enrolls YouTubers to share their ad revenues with Nintendo, providing that they comply with Nintendo content guidelines, which demands restrictions on profanity, among other things. This is not just for Let's Plays on Nintendo games, but also things like footage used in video reviews or analysis. By and large, it's not a popular program, and yeah, the program has been heavily criticized. So, the new policy reads like this. live streams on YouTube fall outside the scope of Nintendo's creator program. This means that you cannot broadcast content on YouTube Live from an account you have registered to the Nintendo Creators Program, though. Nintendo advised that channels registered with the program want to stream Nintendo games should either make a new account that isn't part of the program or leave the program as a channel and individually re-register every video for manual review before they could be monetized again. The word also seemed to indicate that live stream Nintendo game as a whole, monetized or not, is subject to actions from Nintendo, though. Okay, obviously not everyone is pleased about this, as we've seen some rants ranging from Nintendo Prime and Dreamcast Guy. Again, I have a video, links in the description. And in a way, I can understand this to some degree, though. I understand Nintendo is very protective of their IPs, and there are times when I do think they're in the right. But at the time, though, I do think that they tend to be a bit, or should I say, way too stingy when it comes to protecting their going after YouTube videos, which I think is also I think also hurts them in terms of basically advertising their products, because by having popular or these YouTubers play their game, it's like free advertisement out there, and I think it's sort of a missed opportunity, though. The content creator program was never popular when it was first announced, and it got heavily criticized, though, despite Nintendo claiming that like 1 million people signed up to this. And this just adds more to it, and just makes it even worse than it is, though. And the fact that you're not letting people stream the games you play, though, I can see to some degree there's a bit of a gray area when it comes to, say, like a story-driven game, like, say, like Breath of the Wild is, for example. So on one hand, I can understand that, but on the other hand, when you look at a game like, say, Smash Brothers or Mario Kart, for example, that's not a story-driven game. So why do you say, like, banning basically people who want to stream that game as well for people to see? Also, there's also the criticism of, like, there are only certain games that you can basically, that they're okay with, you can monetize, that they're not okay with, though. There's a whole issue with Angry Joe, upset over Nintendo's decision to them monetizing his videos, although there's some criticism towards him saying, you know what, you don't own the game and all that stuff. It throws in the whole fair use stuff. Then there's a whole content, I think this whole the thing that Jim Sterling came up, which is basically the ad block, where if he puts a content from a company that wants to monetize his video, he could put another thing like there, like a song or something, that basically is a copyright deadlock, which prevents both companies from making money off of that video, though. So some of it is YouTube, and some of it is also Nintendo, and I think this, is pushing it a little too far, for crying out loud. It's also one of the reasons why I keep my video reviews and my gameplay footage separate, to avoid a company contenting ID both my videos, though. Although now they changed to YouTube, where you have to have 10,000 lifetime views, though, and I'm kind of getting there, though. But still, I can see why a lot of YouTubers are upset, though, alright? As much as I like Nintendo, though, I do think there are times when I think they make decisions that are certainly questionable, to say the least. Their online voice chat is certainly one example of this. Although they've improved it, though, it has been heavily criticized over the idea of using your phone and everything like that. Even what they have shown, though, and I wouldn't be surprised, and it's certainly got negative reviews. Some could be trolling, but others could be justification. And their content creators program has sort of got off to a bad start ever since they announced it. Not everybody's a big fan of it, ranging from PewDiePie, although some people have criticized PewDiePie, some say he's a entitlement and all that stuff. But overall, I just think it's a bad idea what Nintendo's doing. I think it's potentially could hurt them in a degree. I mean, they may not be hurting now because the Switch is doing well, but they by doing this, you're missing out on reaching out perhaps maybe a new audience. Maybe this audience watched this popular YouTube person, and if he or she are playing your game, maybe that will convince them to buy the game, and you're missing out on that opportunity. So as much as I like Nintendo, I think this is a dumb decision on their part, and I really think they need to reevaluate their policies on YouTube. yes, I understand there are certain cases where they have to protect their IPs and all that stuff, and I understand that. But at the same time, I think they're going a little bit going way overboard, and they're not the only ones. I mean, companies like Rockstar, as much as I like their game, have a history of this as well. I just feel that this is a idiotic and dumb move and a missed opportunity on Nintendo's part, and I really do hope they reevaluate this decision, because I am not surprised that there's going to be sort of a backlash against this, though, and I would not be surprised if you see some people speak out against Nintendo on this one. Even those who are Nintendo fans, I wouldn't be surprised if they speak out against Nintendo on this. So, bottom line, even though I'm a Nintendo fan, though, I think this is an idiotic policy. Either they need to change this policy, or they need to change the way they do their content creators program, or they need to just get rid of it altogether, because it's just not working out. It really isn't. Okay, this concludes this My 2 Cents video for this week. And again, these are my opinion, but what are yours? Let's see, where is my... I keep forgetting. Okay, alright, here it is. Alright, what are your thoughts about the sales numbers for Marvel vs. Capcom, though? Do you have hopes the game will do well here in the US than it did in the UK or in Japan? Do you have not any hopes at all? Have you played the game? Do you think reviewers are right to really rip it apart, or do you think that they're wrong and you think the game's actually good, though? What about Yooka-Layee for the Switch being being delayed? Do you think that you're okay with this delay? Do you think, yep, let's address this problem, or do you think that are you afraid that this could be another Mighty No. 9 situation again, and it's going to be bad after this long tired wait, or do you think the delay is going to be well worth it for Yooka-Layee and the Nintendo Switch? What are your thoughts about the chances of Borderlands 2 coming to the Nintendo Switch? Do you think the game has an opportunity to come, though? Do you think that they will bring it over, or are you not holding your breath? And do you think that you really don't have any confidence that Gearbox or any Pitchford will basically bring the game over to the Nintendo Switch? What are your thoughts about the trailer for Red Dead Redemption 2? Are you happy with what you saw? Are you not happy with what you saw? And what are your thoughts about the rumors for GTA 5 on the Nintendo Switch? Are you hoping this is true? Do you think it's not true at all? Do you think that it's going to happen? Do you think it's not going to happen? And do you think if it does happen, what kind of compromise or what kind of optimization do you think we might see should GTA 5 come to the Switch? And finally, what are your thoughts about the DLC for Fire Emblem Warriors? Are you okay with this? Are you not okay with this? No? Are you uneasy about the season pass, the $20 season pass for it? Are you not uneasy about it? And what are your thoughts about Nintendo's decision to ban streaming for those who are part of their content creators programs, though? Do you think they're in the right? Do you think they're not in the right? Do you think this is a good policy? Or do you think this is just a downright terrible policy that they're doing? Do you agree with what I said in this video? Do you disagree with what I said in this video? Do you have a difference of opinion, though? As always, sound off on the comment section below. Let me know what you think, and I hope you hit that like button. I would appreciate it. And I hope you do subscribe to my YouTube channel. Also, feel free to share this video if you want to, and feel free to donate to my channel if you like. You could do it through PayPal me, or you could do it through Patreon. Links will be in the description of this video. You can check it out there. It's evening in Southern California, so I'll be getting ready for bed soon, and I will see you again next time when I do another video. Hopefully that will be soon. Until then, from Southern California, I wish you all a good evening. Bye!